Well, good afternoon, folks. Matt Smith here with Smith Sales Company Auctioneers in Miles City, Montana. On May 11th, we are going to sell a wide variety of cars and trucks. And there'll be some parts. You can see this pickup is full of parts. Looks like there'll be a Jeep Commando. But as we make our way around here, I'll just kind of let you see what's coming up and going to get sold. There's approximately 150 to 175. I'll be up front with you. These all belong to me. And I have been collecting them for a while. I'll put it to you this way. I never met a Chevy, a Ford, even a Dodge that I didn't like. I grew up in the Northeast, in the Rust Belt. So for me, every one of these is a treasure. But with that said, they will all be sold unreserved. I'm not going to bid on them. I'm not going to buy anything back. We're going to create this space for our auction business. I would not live long enough to fix them all up. So I need to kind of clean up my mess, so to speak. I look at a couple of these and I remember every story, and then I look at this one and I have no idea of when I got it or how I got it. Oh well. Yeah, we'll just kind of look through there. Have to say, even though I'm a Chevy guy, I really like this Ford. And this truck runs. I drove it right where it sets. I'll kind of take you down a couple of the rows. This white truck here has a really nice clean body on it. The box vans and things, they're just going to stay put. They're full of parts. I just don't have the life in me to try to do all those at once. This truck sits on a short bed frame, but that cab would not match the frame, the VIN. Here's a nice truck. I paid $500 for that. 454 truck. Never did a thing with it. I never even started it. One thing to keep in mind, they're not all pretty like that. I've basically tried to save every piece of iron that I could, regardless of what condition it was in. This might be a long video because I'm probably going to talk more than I'm going to walk. There'll be some Suburbans. There'll be some crew cabs. I don't think I have any four-door, four-wheel drive crew cabs. There might be one in here somewhere, I don't know. I bought this thing out of spite. I was at an auction one time and somebody who didn't pay their bill was bidding on this. So I just bought it so she couldn't have it. I know that sounds awful, but that's the truth. Well, I guess there's a four-wheel drive crew right there. Probably keep this one. I have 4 kids. I plan to fix up 4 trucks, one for each. That one I have set aside for one of my daughters, but it's kind of a neat truck. I don't think she'd ever drive it, but she could look at it anyhow. This truck's kind of cool. 454. As far as I know, that maybe was a one-owner truck. Thinking that had factory tack. I don't have all those memorized. Oh yeah, it does. Well, we'll just kind of cut across here. Well, I don't know. I guess if we're gonna have a long video, we'll have a long video. That truck runs good, 4-speed. I really don't know why I don't drive it every day. I just bought it on a whim. There's another one of those, save for the kids. Back there, that's gonna go to one of my sons. I have 4 kids. I don't think any of them are gonna fight over that. That's going, although that'll be sad to see go. A few Fords, not as many Fords, but I never started out to be a Ford guy, but just kind of ended up that way. That truck runs and drives. Actually runs pretty good. I drove it there and parked it. I've owned this truck a couple times. I bought it once at a city impound auction, sold it. Then about 10, 12 years later, guy was gonna scrap it. So I bought it again. Here's another truck that I thought was just fantastic. Pretty sure, well, I know it's a 77. I'm thinking this had a factory tack. Oh yeah. Yep. Here's one I got just because you don't get too many of the Fords with 4-wheel drives. Here's one that I bought from like Copart or someplace like that. The motor in it's junk, but the body was decent. That has a lift kit in it. Just never did anything with it. There'll be a couple Blazers. I was never big on those, but there's a few. This thing was awesome when it was new, but it's not new anymore. This truck has a fantastic body. This is one of the very few, it's the only one here, Yuba Gold. That thing has seen better days. Here's a factory wood grain truck. This truck runs and drives. Once again, bought it cheap, didn't do anything with it. Some more Fords. All right, some Chevrolets. That one runs 6-cylinder. This truck I never tried. Honestly, I can't remember if there's a motor in it. But this particular one has buckets. This was an original 402 big block truck. There's a row of 60s trucks, mainly parts trucks. This tan truck did run and drive. Always liked this orange one. That's a short bed here. There's a truck I liked, but I got soured on that when I came back from vacation and somebody had stole the emblems off of it. I always thought that was kind of a bad deal. This thing here, pretty nice shape. Somebody was either taking a motor out or putting one in. Very clean as far as rust. That's 4-wheel drive. Been sitting there long enough for that tree to grow up. Well, I guess you can't really see in it. One thing I'm gonna tell you right off is I'm not gonna sell anything before the auction, and I'm not gonna sell any parts. I don't have the time or life in me to do it. I'm an auctioneer. I make my living selling for others at auction. So that's the way these are going. Nice bed here. Occasionally you'll see something like this, but that's not mine. But this is. That truck runs. I think we drove it to where it sat. We just never did anything with it. There's a row here that I started. This is 70s four-wheel drives. I think these are half tons on this side. Although that green one is probably a 3/4 ton. That's a really good truck. I kind of put a motor, transmission, everything in that, but it's an unfinished project. I got sick while I was doing it and never finished it. Pretty nice truck though. Down through here, these will all be round headlight trucks. I would say that they're, with the exception of the first one, the rest of them are all, I shouldn't say that. Most of them are four-wheel drive. Then on this side, 81 to 87 goes down through. Yeah, that's a four-wheel drive. I think I had that running once. Matter of fact, I know I did. This truck I bought once, but I never tried it. I never did anything with it. It came out of an estate. There's a motor, training transfer. Everything's there. They just died, so they quit using it. This truck did run, but the transfer case was out, and I don't think that motor is going to run anymore. But it wasn't a bad truck. This truck, pretty decent body on the cab. Well, there's only one more row on this lot. Then we'll go out back. This will go. I collected a lot of these trucks because I really didn't want to see them get sent to the auto recyclers. But that'll be up to somebody else now. This is a truck that we took the motor out of. But again, that's one I wound up that one time I got sick and I never finished it, and I never will. It's going down the road. There's a half a truck. I always like this yellow one. Pretty decent body, pretty good start to a fixer pickup. This old GMC will go. Some guy didn't pay his bill. Thank God that's what he bought and wasn't something else like a Geo Metro. All right, well, this video's long enough. I'll do round 2 when I get out back. Thanks for looking.